Good afternoon, and welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to our Direwolf 20 1.10 Let's Play series. So I do apologize, this episode's a day late. It's been so busy, so busy, with everything going on, and the server plays, and all the different Let's Plays, and then I'm also working on Skyrim, trying to get that all sorted out, and it's been hectic. But anyways, that's not going to stay like that, just a heads up. I'm just kind of getting an idea for like how far the center is, and I'm going to do some chisel work there. So that's going to change. But I just kind of wanted to see if I went straight diagonal where that would kind of end up. So, and whatnot. So anyways, down below the spawner here, I actually had a comment on last episode about putting graveyard dirt down there, and so I was going to do that, and then I was like, well, I'll put graveyard dirt down there when I can put cursed dirt. So you'll notice on the map there's just mobs all up in here. Oh shoot, that could be bad. That could be bad. I did not mean to come down here. Oh my gosh, it's so bad down here. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? Why did he explode? Okay, fun times. Fun times ahead. Okay, let me sort this little issue out here. If I can. I shouldn't have even shown you guys. I should have just been like, yep, there's cursed art down there. You got to believe me. Oh my gosh. Okay. A little bit of an issue. Not going to lie. This could be... This could be a little bit on the dangerous side. I think we're just going to kind of block it off. Oh my gosh. Okay. So maybe now. There we go. We got all of our stuff. Okay. I'm just going to leave that as is for right now. And I don't know. I might just... Anyway. There's cursed art down there. Okay. Which that's a pain because I don't think I have any other drops of evil. So I'm going to have to go farm those again. I mean, it's not that it took a long time. It's just a hassle. Just a little bit of a hassle. But anyways, great way to start off the episode. So I'll put cursed art down there, and mobs are spawning, and you'll notice, like, this is, like, full now. Yeah. We have 1 million life points in the altar. It does generate fast. Like, to the point that this, like, before, you know how it was, like, blood and then tick, and it was gone? It tends to have, like, a little bit of blood in there. Like, the orb's just not draining it quick enough. Sometimes it'll drain it off, but generally, it stays pretty well full. So, anyway, I wanted to remove those waypoints. Today, though, you may notice I have some things in my inventory. We are actually going to be moving this. This is what we're going to do. I'll go ahead and take that trash can. So, we're going to be moving this thing. I don't want it here anymore. I don't like it here. And, I mean, it's not really doing anything here. But, what I don't like is my old quarry. You know, having to go over there and move it and change it and all that, it's a pain, and it could be faster. I will say that setting this up, we may not have enough power to run it at full speed. I'm not for sure just yet. We'll have to kind of play around with it and see. I'm actually going to get some more item conduit speed upgrades because I think we're going to need them. So anyways, today what I want to do is I want to go to the deep dark. That's what I want to do. So if we take a look, if we take a look here at the deep dark portal, It just takes, it's cheaper now than it used to be in 1.7. It just takes 8 compressed cobblestone. Very, very cheap actually. So let's go ahead and snag our cobblestone and make our portal. And that's where we're going to set up our quarry, is in the deep dark. Because in case you didn't know, the deep dark tends to be a lot more dense on ores. And it's also a bit more dangerous, but running a quarry in there is perfectly fine. You know, there's not a whole lot of danger in that. Well, I say there's not a whole lot of danger. And the nice thing is that quarry will chunk load itself. So that's a plus as well. But we can just set down our portal just like that and then step onto it, and you'll notice we get kind of this like visual effect. Whoa, 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 whoa. And there we go. Whenever we spawn in, we're going to be here, sitting on this cobblestone, in this cobblestone room with all the torches. Now, one thing to note about the deep dark, of course, is that you get a random lag spike when you start. One thing to note, though, about the deep dark is that if you stay in darkness for too long, you will start taking damage. So just be aware of that. Like if I start digging down here, and should be fairly soon, we should start seeing some damage being taken. Apparently they're scared of us right now. But anyways, another thing to note is that whenever you start, you will be up near the top, and you actually have to dig your way down instead of digging, you know, up or whatever. You actually start at the top, and it is like an underground cave dimension. So just a heads up on that. I find it, there we go. Now we're taking damage. You notice it's quite a bit, and it'll stop as soon as we light the area up. So I don't know why it took so long for us to get that first bit of damage, but that's okay. And you'll notice that I've been digging down for quite a while. What I might do actually is just do this. There we go. I see it right down there. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a waypoint, and we're going to say home. That way we know where to fly back out of whenever we finish. But if you notice, it's a little bit of a drop. So if you don't have flight, it's still possible. I've explored this place without flight. It is still fairly possible. There's a couple different ways that you can do it. For one, if we take a look around here, right there, you'll notice that there's this like pillar that kind of comes down. You can find yourself one of those and dig down through that to reach the bottom. Or if you have water, you can use water to swim down. So, you know, there's a couple different ways. But anyways, you'll notice that this dimension, there's just a lot of these like stalagmites. Is it stalagmite or stalactite that hangs down from the ceiling? I can't remember. I'll probably look it up after this episode, honestly. I always get them confused or mixed up, you know. But anyways, we got those hanging down on the ceiling, and there's all these like just jumble of rocks down here. Also, this dimension tends to be full of monsters. Yeah, you'll notice the map, there's red all over the place. So just be aware that there's generally a lot of creatures here. And if we have a quick fly around, there's some lava. That's not really what I'm looking for. There is a couple structures that generate. Oh, this is strange. This must be a byproduct of actually additions, because actually additions can create those underground caves that have the trees and stuff. And I imagine that's why that's there, is due to actually additions spawning it. And you can actually run between these, and they put off some light. So, but let's have a quick fly around and see. There's a couple structures that actually generate here in the deep dark. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, just so I can show it to you guys. All right, I'm not really seeing much in the way of world gens that may have been taken out. I'll be honest with you, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time in the deep dark since 1.10, or since I started doing 1.10 stuff. So that is a possibility that it was just totally removed. It surprises me, I'll be honest with you. Or maybe it just hasn't been implemented since 1.10. That's also a possibility. But anyways, what I want to do is I want to actually use our angel block. I can't remember if I went over this. I don't think I had one made. So maybe I haven't. But basically the angel block, you can place this anywhere, like in the sky. Another lag spike. Strange. But you can place this anywhere in the sky, and we're going to place it like right here, I think. And we'll go ahead, we'll put a torch on it so we don't take any damage. And what this is for, of course, it allows you to place that block anywhere and just start building, especially like in like void areas, or if you want to build any kind of altitude based things. And the nice, well, there we go. I was about to say, it should break immediately, pretty much, and go right into your inventory, but and so what I want to do is I want to set up our quarry up here, because the nice thing about the builder quarry, the RF Tools builder, is that it doesn't actually have to be right next to what you're going to quarry. It doesn't have to be, you know, right next to that area on the same Y level, nothing. So very, very handy. So we're going to set up our builder like right here, I think. Current level 89. Great. And let's go ahead, let's add a little bit of additional cobblestone around here so we have space to set up our stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and chunk load this area as well. I actually kind of want to move away from the FTB utility chunks, if I'm being totally honest, because they're not good for you to use a lot. And then let's go ahead and we'll set up a dimensional transceiver just like right here, and we're going to say that this is going to be called, for the power line, we're going to say builder quarry. And it's going to receive power on the builder quarry line. Now I forgot to actually set up the other one. So I'll tell you what, let me go get the other one set up just really, really quick. It's quite strange. It teleported me on top of this tower. I don't know. But anyways, I will say that this thing does drain quite a bit of power when you start just running it like we're going to be doing. So we're probably going to be upgrading power fairly soon. I'll be honest with you. But we're going to go ahead and set it to builder quarry line and say send. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and make ourselves a RF Tools transmitter and receiver. And I think we'll probably end up sprucing this up just a little bit, you know, down the road. But for right now, I'm just going to put it here in the AE room. That'll be fine. We'll put down our transmitter, and let me go ahead and wrench that. And it's on channel 1 right now. That's perfectly fine. And we're going to add redstone here and a lever. And then if we want to use a receiver, what we'll do is we'll just right click it. And it's going to say channel set to 1. You can see, well, you can see that says channel 1. And so if we were to add redstone coming out of this, whenever I turn this one on, that one gets the signal. So it works pretty much like wireless redstone, you know, like that mod did in the past. And so that's what we're going to use, because the RF Tools quarry block requires a redstone signal to run, and we want it to, of course, you know, we want to have a shutoff switch for it, because I don't want to have to go all the way down there like, oh, well, the quarry is draining too much power, let me go all the way down to the deep dark and turn it off. Because I think at the moment, if it does start draining too much power on us, what we're going to do is, you know, run it for a bit and then we'll shut it off, let our power build back up and run it for a bit and shut it off. It's still going to be more effective, I think, at the end of the day than the actual Additions quarry, because moving that and chunk loading that, like, it's been a hassle and I don't love it. And I want resources coming in, but I don't want to mess with that thing anymore. So anyways, and we can actually infuse this as well, which we'll probably get into that fairly soon, honestly. But so that's got power, and so then let's go ahead, we're going to put our redstone receiver down just right here. Let's go ahead and turn it, and we'll bring our redstone out. Now what we need to do is we need to configure our shape card, just like we have in the past, you know. And let's go ahead, we're going to select that, and then our first corner, and I'm using the clearing quarry because I like having the big holes. That way you know, for future reference, I've already dug here. So, I'll tell you what, actually, let's do it. We're going to say this is your first corner, okay? Then we're going to come out, and this actually has like a huge range. I want to say it can do like a lot of chunks. It's a bunch of chunks. So just a heads up on that. Keep that in mind. But we'll come out to, like, say right here. That's a fairly decent area for our first quarry run. By the way, you'll notice the mobs actually have extra health in the Deep Dark as well. So just be aware of that. They do take a few more hits. And they spawn a lot of mobs. But we'll say that this is going to be our next corner. So let's go ahead and dig down. And there we go. So we've reached bedrock here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just say, like, this is your second corner. New settings copied to the shape card. Good stuff. And let's go ahead and we're going to say, okay, solid box. So very, very nice. And now we'll head back up there to our quarry. And we will give it our shape card, installed module. And let's go ahead and say preview mode. And you can see that it's going to dig this huge area here. And we can stand on it and all that good stuff. So, that's very, very good. Yeah. So that's the area that we want. I'm happy with it. So next up, let's go ahead. We'll turn off this. We're going to say keep running with redstone signal, just like we did before. Then let's go ahead and set up our ender chest. And basically this thing is going to output items to the slots above it, or an inventory above it. So we're just going to put our ender chest right here. And we're going to dye it yellow, yellow, yellow. I know we've covered some of this stuff before, but we're actually going to be using this as an official quarry and stuff. So I didn't want to just be like, well, move the quarry, guys. You know, and not, plus going to the Deep Dark and stuff. I wonder if the world gen is just not implemented, or if I'm just unlucky and haven't found it. I mean, I flew around for a decent amount of time. It was probably like 10 or 15 minutes. So, it was a fairly decent amount of time, I think. And so now if we come up here and we turn this redstone signal on, that should start running. We should see stuff. There it is. It's getting all sorts of things into here. And at a fairly fast rate, if you notice. Like, you'll see, well, there's some things coming in here like industrial hemp and stuff. But it is ripping up the ground right now. So if we pop back over, we can see it running. And it is absolutely wonderful. Really, really quickly, let's look at our power. It's actually not draining that much. Surprisingly. Because whenever this thing gets low, of course, this is going to kick on. So, I can live without that amount of power drain. I mean, I will say, like, it's draining across all 5 of these that much. So, you're talking about 10,000-ish per tick. But, I mean, this is going to kick on. It's going to be like, 16,000? Something like that. But I can live with that. So, and like I said, we'll get into infusing fairly soon, and we'll infuse it so it draws less power. Really, it's not that expensive of a quarry, and it's OP. It's so OP. Like, if you get one of these, like, you're going to be set forever on ores. We may still, if you guys want to, we may do some kind of a world eater or something. We'll try to figure out something with that. Well, actually, I was just looking, and frames and funky locomotion are neither one are in the pack. So maybe we won't do a world eater. I don't know. Unless it's a name change. I'll have to look into that, because they've changed. Well, I know it's supposedly a different mod or whatever, but it's still, in essence, I think it's still the same mod. You know. But anyways, if we take a look here, you'll notice that it's tearing through the ground fairly effectively. It really is. And the mobs are just suiciding, which is great. But yeah, already it's tore up all of this area. And that's going all the way down to bedrock as well. So, look at the zombies. They're like, yeah, party! Party up in here! But yeah, I mean, really at this point, I think we're going to be set on ores. So it's not something that we're really going to have to consider or anything. Now, you can do a fortune quarry as well, which we'll probably, once we have the power, we'll upgrade it. But I will tell you that the fortune quarry is very expensive on power. And honestly, with the way this thing runs, fortune is not really an issue, you know, for diamonds and stuff, because, like, it's going to, we should see it. There's diamonds right there. There was just 4 of them. But we should be able to see the density of diamonds here in just a second for the Deep Dark. Oh, there's draconium. That's what I was really wanting as well, is draconium. It looks like I could have went down like one more, but I think we'll be okay. And I will say that once we infuse it, it will run even faster and for like less power per block kind of a thing. So that's definitely something that we want to do fairly soon. If you've never seen one run when it's infused, it's ridiculous. It's just like, oh, what, there was ground here? You know. I'll tell you what, though, I am going to snag these emeralds. But there it goes. It's cutting through that chunk. I think I saw some diamonds in there. But anyways, it is a lot of materials. And you'll notice that in the deep dark, emeralds spawn pretty much everywhere. So we'll be able to really build up on our emerald stockpile as well, which would be nice for like drawers and stuff like that. So let's pop back over to the overworld real quick and see how it's going over there. Because I'm curious if we need to expand our ore processing, which is very, very possible. Because this thing just runs at such an incredible rate that we may have to increase the amount of machines that we have processing ores. So let's say that, I mean, that's keeping up. That's fine because we've got the 4 acceleration cards. If we take a look at the power storage, yeah, I mean, it's ran through like 15 million on like all of these. Like, no problem. I am probably going to start upgrading these to vibrant capacitor banks because we're to the point now that resources really aren't an issue, I don't feel like. But if we look over here, this is running, and it's going to back up at this rate. What we might do... Yeah, actually, I think what we will do right now, right here, this modular storage, that's what we want. So let's go ahead and just snag this. And I may actually set up the quarry in, like, the nether. Or maybe, once we get to enough power, we may just run one in the nether and one here. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, we're going to get one of these modular storage. And then we're going to have to get ourselves a storage card. It drives me insane because for some reason I can't scroll down. Like I can only look at the first page. But we'll have to start with a tier 1 here. And then if we want to get a tier 2, actually just make a few chests here. A tier 2 requires the tier 1, of course. And then the tier 2, or the tier 3, I'm sorry. So anyways, we're going to change this over to a storage module tier 3. And so now we'll go set this up. And what I'm thinking is we're just going to go ahead and rip this up. That's what we're going to do. I know there's going to be ores everywhere. And we got, okay, yeah, we've never done it because we just got storing the stuff. We'll throw the tier 3 into this. And the nice thing about this is you'll notice it has 300 stacks that it can store. 300 stacks of items can be stored within this one block. It's great for large buffers like this. Like, you know, maybe I don't want... Like, I know inevitably the AE system is probably going to have to hold on to some of these because we're getting a ton of ores. I mean, there's 42 stacks right there. So inevitably, it's probably going to get some stacks built up. That's fine. Do I have... No, I don't have speed upgrades on this. Okay. I'm going to add speed upgrades to this just so it can extract a little bit faster. Because I think it would be helpful. But yeah, so that's going to keep up fairly well, I think. I still need to put capacitors into all of these. That would help, I think. Maybe like some octatic capacitors. I mean, we've got the materials now. Ender pearls we have almost 200 of at the moment. So, yeah, we'd be pretty well set on that, I think. So, I may get that all changed over, but... oh, man. Pretty much destroyed my pickaxe. That's fine. I'll go throw it in the repairer real quick. But anyways, with that, I do believe, though, that it's just about wrapping up point. Let's take a look at our power usage. Yeah, it's fighting it. It's really trying to fight it right now. But if we take a look, I mean, it is just chunking through materials. It really, really is. I mean, even if we could only run this quarry for like 10 minutes, that's fine. You would be so set on stuff, it would be ridiculous. What I'll probably do is run it for a minute more, and then I'll shut it off for a while. Let the power build back up and let the system process through some of the ores. Now later on, once we have enough power, it's not really going to be much of an issue, I don't think, to just run it all the time. But for right now, we do. I still want to be a little bit careful. Sometimes this will happen. It'll come back and get stuff like this, like these kind of chunks. Just for some reason, it's like, nope, can't mine that. But then it'll be like, oh yeah, I can. And it'll go back and mine it. But yeah, I mean, it's still chunking away. It's already on its second bunch of chunks. Now you will notice sometimes you get a little bit of FPS drop, but I mean, you're running a quarry that literally eats the earth up. So that's fine. I mean, I almost feel like this kind of negates the actual need for like a world eater, because this thing eats the world with very minimal setup. You will have to move it. That's the only thing. There's a lot of emeralds here. I love it. There's a bunch of diamonds. There's eight diamonds. Yeah. Not bad. And emeralds for days, I swear. We are going to have to upgrade this to fortune just because we can, kind of a thing. Well, anyways, I'm not too worried about going and mining those. Like I said, you don't really have to worry so much about fortune because you're going to have plenty of materials. So, but anyways, I do believe that with that, I am going to end out the episode. I know it's just about wrapping up point. Next episode, we will likely start looking towards some alternate power. Either that or we'll get back into maybe Britannia. So one or the other. Because I don't want to stray too far from our magical mods, because we still need to, do a lot with Britannia, a lot with blood magic, and also we need to get into Psi, because Psi is in the pack. That's kind of like tech meets magic. If you've never played with it, it's a lot like tech magic. It's actually a lot of fun. It's different, but it is a lot of fun. Let's see, we have 149 diamonds, so we're not doing too bad on those. So, but anyways, if you guys enjoyed the episode, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And I'm going to try to work up there. I'm thinking about changing that big sphere a little bit, but we'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys join me for next time. And until then, as always, do take care and stay safe. And I hope to see you guys then.